Space people, universal love. Space people, universal love. Energy of blue argonite. And I'm here to take you higher. For those of you who catch me for the first time, this is Big Pontiac, also known as Eight Wind, also known as Starface, also known as the Time Lord. I take all them hats. I gather all that energy. I am the holder of the sacred infinite ball game that was given to us by the Hero Twins. And I am also your galactic daddy-o, welcoming each and every one of you onto my galactic patio from Minnesota to the universe. And drink all my beer earlier. So, again, with copper infused water filtered by Motivite. So, again, pop them if you want them. We are smoking on the Evolve Wolf Plus XL by Yukon. And we're smoking acid cigar still. This is the Big Dipper. So let's see who's all we got. Who's with us tonight? Who is with us tonight? All right, Conspiracy. What's the deal? Holyfield, right on. You guys gotta subscribe to him. He does great work and good guy. Checking the Galactic Patrol. What's up? Big Pontiac. What's happening, Mr. Lamborghini? Leg lock. Liquid Fire. What's happening? Thank you for joining. Oh, very cool. Curry wins MVP. Sign of them win the championship. Again, you. Just getting Giannis winning ASG last year. Yeah, that could be a sign. Do you think KD sacrificed his grandmother? Absolutely. Absolutely. Who else was I listening to today? There was a couple other sacrifices from, hey, Brother James. So, yeah, CWE. Yep. Last shot from LeBron was so manipulated, he was going to miss it, but they pulled it in. See, I turned it after. Man, I didn't watch the end. Yeah, I guess I did. It was on, but I was doing shit. So, my huge singing bowl came from. We have an, I guess you could call it a cult kind of place. They serve herbs and shit, and they sell crystals, ton of books, incense. But I got it from them. I paid $400 for it like 5-6 years ago. It's double what I paid for it, because I'm kind of following the story of who makes these or where it came from with the stuff on it. Because he's from Cleveland. Yeah, I would think that too. Born in Akron. I think they were born in Akron. I've been watching TV. Can't comment there but I suppose you support and gratitude for the coolest. Go hard yet gentle and fun, spiritual sports, dope ass content. I'll be cracking up too. Well, thank you, Liquid Fire. I'm glad that you enjoy it. I got an idea why Scarface. Okay, share that. LeBron's game winner was manipulated. I think so too. Yeah, I did see that. I saw that. I think so too. And they said that he done won 3 years in a row. I don't think I don't think it's that deep. Not sacrificing nobody just to sell they sold. No, the blood comes with it too. It ain't enough. They got to have blood, and that goes back to the Spanish. They got to have, well, really, that goes to them peoples. They've always want to have blood libel. So, typical insomnia. Okay, Greg Deep. Hey, Anise, thank you for joining me. And I still do owe you some crystals, so I have not forgot. I just got to get it together. Barbara, thank you. Thank you for all the support. I really appreciate it, Barbara. Thank you for watching me throughout this time. I appreciate it. I do appreciate it. I got several breakdowns of the whole event. Um, okay, first I'm gonna go with the race today. Now, I think I did a video early last year because, again, as I said, NASCAR does their Super Bowl at the beginning of the year. The biggest race of the year is today for them. And so, like, one thing you have to understand the constraints and the safety of the cars. Oh, and if I know if you're not a fan, one thing we see though, we see the new cars. Like we have the Camrys, the Chevys are the Camaros, and then of course Fords are Mustangs. So we see the new version of the cars which raced. They used them in LA, when they raced around the Coliseum. And I'll tell you, I've told this story before. When I was in Greensboro, we went to, I don't know if it was Winston-Salem's original football field. I'm not sure, but we watched them race cars around this football field. It had goalposts and shit, but they raced these cars on this concrete stuff. And I mean, this thing wasn't like, it wasn't no 3 cars wide. It was 2-car wide. I mean, it was just amazing that they raced this car on what looked like a damn track field, but they raced them damn cars around it. But one thing that like I watched the whole race. I had to do something for a second, came back, and NASCAR, it was 9 laps to go, and they do a fake crash. I mean, they do this time and time again. If it's not the right person in the lead, they do the fake crash. Wallace lost by a half a fender. So Wallace, now here's a question for everybody. Is Wallace still with Michael Jordan? Because when he got out and they interviewed him, because the winner gets $1 million or $2 million, but all of them get money how you place. So don't think they just went and don't get paid. Coming in second, he's probably going to get $500,000 or more. But I didn't see any of Michael Jordan's Jumpman on his suit. This is supposed to be his prime sponsor. He's still 23, and that sponsorship. So somebody, if you can look that up to see. Not in 9 laps to go. No. At first it was 46 laps. Then it got down to about 18. And 9 laps to go was like 3 crashes. Or maybe from 18 to the end of the race. It was like 3 crashes. 9 laps to go, took out the leaders. Yeah, I mean, it's just the same thing over and over again. So I find that interesting. And then a game I did watch earlier was Wisconsin and Michigan. And like one thing, Wisconsin at one time, I think it got broken last year, and maybe Michigan is the one that broke it, but they had like an 80-game home winning streak, if you understand. But Wisconsin is historically known for basketball for cheating. I mean, for really getting refs that help them. And so we see Juwan Howard get grabbed by the arm, and he kind of pushes away, and he puts his finger in the coach's face. But if you go back and watch it to see who really got the work done, look at number 55 for Michigan. He takes a couple. I mean, he's in the background, but the dude from Wisconsin just got him with 2 nice ones. And then you see then he punches back, but then you see 14 coming in there. So that was interesting. And of course, Juwan slapping the dude, but they was going at it. But they was getting cheated the whole game. So I know Juwan was frustrated. Granted, it's all scripted and stuff, but shit just happens. So wanted to get that in. And then I watched pickleball on TV and got in 2 games. It was 44 degrees up here today. I got 2 games. I just wore a hoodie. So I got 2 games of pickleball. Probably could have got a third one, just didn't really speak up. But I watched pickleball, was on ESPN too. So now someone just asked about selling their souls. We're here or about blood sacrifice, the blood libel. Shaq's stepfather was probably his handler, his first handler. He tells a story how his stepfather really is probably his handler. So Shaq sacrificed a sister and his stepfather, because remember, his stepfather was in a commercial with Shaq. Something about using a phone or some shit. So he was in a couple commercials. And remember, Dak. Remember Dak's brother that committed suicide was in the soup commercial. Y'all remember that? When when Dak's brother was in one of his brother, the brother that committed suicide was in that chunky soup commercial. So if y'all remember that. So Shaq's stepfather again. So wanted to bring that up. I know some people came in. I think Adam was with us. Mr. T Gaming, what's happening? Hey, what's happening, Adam? Thank you for joining again. How the skies, Big Panic? The skies are popping. How are popping these days? The sun, moon, beautiful colors, warfare, chemtrails. What a time to be alive. Any sightings? As I said, I got up yesterday morning and I noticed, I didn't check, but I'm pretty sure Venus has whipped its way around. Venus must have recrossed my face, because I was seeing it in my southwest. I think Venus transversed back to from southwest or west back to the east. I could be wrong. But when I woke up yesterday morning, it was still a full moon, because I left the house before 7. So it's still a full moon. And I think it was Venus, because only Venus usually shows like that. As I said before Christmas, some of the because again, I live near a lake, and some of the nightfall colors, the evening colors over the lake, just the sun going down, I don't remember them being as beautiful. I really don't. I don't remember them being as beautiful. So Wallace is the other two. Why don't? Yeah, that's right. Wallace, Michael Jordan does 2 cards because their team won. The dude who won the race, I think, is Michael Jordan behind the guy who won the race? Why didn't you do a video on LeBron's game winner? I mean, what if you look at it like this, what do you expect in an all-star game? You see Seth shot all them shots. I changed up and showed where Seth missed the shot on purpose. I changed up and showed a shot where he missed on purpose by mechanics, by showing his mechanics, because he could have easily shot that shot. We've seen him a couple years ago, them years he had his MVP, shoot that shot where he's not one, he didn't launch it. So, I mean, it's the All-Star game. So what did you think? You think the manipulation system was going to stop? So I just didn't see the point of showing that. That's why I didn't show that. Because yeah, stunning indeed. Yeah, it's some of the nightfalls and evenings were really beautiful. But that's why I didn't show it. And I'm wearing this greenstone that Sean gave me, and I'm going to eventually read the energy from the greenstone. Gosh, I was hoping Lorenzo would be on, because they gave, what's interesting is in Bob McAdoo, they gave him top 75 all-time players, which I agree with, because when Bob McAdoo was with the Buffalo Braves, he was killing them all. And he had to play center at 6'10", but he was dropping 50 on everybody because he could shoot. I mean, he was probably the first big man, a little bit Alvin Hayes too, but in that same vein, that a big man that would shoot the J on you and consistently hit it. Bob McAdoo was nice. And he made 75, but he is not in the Hall of Fame. I think Bob McAdoo is the only MVP, other than current players or players just recently retired. But if I remember right, he is the only NBA player, the only MVP of Hall of Fame eligible people that is not in the Hall of Fame. So maybe I'm wrong about that, but they did give him the honor of the 75. So I was happy to see that. And I don't know if anybody, let me see. Yeah. This is just so cool. And greenstone is such an old stone that, yeah, this is really cool. I really appreciate it. Cheers, brother. Jordan's drivers are Wallace, Hamlin. Here we go. Jordan drivers are Wallace, Hamlin, and Kurt Busch. Didn't Wallace win? I thought one of his teammates won. So yeah, but welcome, Pale Horse. Now to get to who's the greatest, I still say Wilt. I still say Wilt. Like I was talking about yesterday with Pistol Pete, and nobody will ever score 44 points, average 44 points a game in college. I still think Kareem is the best college player ever. I mean, this man I think only Ralph Sampson equaled, I think, player of the years. I think because Kareem was player of the year, but Kareem won 3 championships in a row too. And the truth be told, the team that won his freshman year, UCLA, they blew them out. They played the varsity, played the freshmen, because back then freshmen couldn't play varsity. And the team with Jabbar blew them out. They were so scared of him, they took away the dunk for almost 20 years. So I still, but getting back to the point, I still think Wilt. I mean, averaging 50 a game with no 3-point shot. I mean, look at some of the 50-point rebound games. I mean, Wilt was phenomenal. And granted, it was less teams, but he competed with what he had. And I thought he dominated like no player has dominated since. I mean, no one has been like Wilt as far as the athlete. I think people don't understand that this was one of the greatest athletes ever. I mean, look at him doing the Big 12 and winning, I think he won the quarter mile and he won the high jump. And he didn't even Fosbury flop. He did the old kind of way where you go over your stomach. He didn't get that air and then flop your legs back. He did the old way where you kind of would scissor kick your way over. So he did the old way, not the more modern way. He was one of the greatest athletes ever. Can we really say Jordan was a great athlete like that? He did play baseball, but he wasn't great as Wilt. So I still say Wilt. I still say Wilt. I still go with Wilt. Not miss anybody. Yeah, how did AD getting over Klay Thompson? That's a good point. That's a good point. But at least he gave up his spot. Chris Paul ain't shit. Chris Paul literally ain't shit. He is so insecure. You still get the tag of all-star, but this motherfucker plays. Now you tell me this don't look like a fake injury, and he was protecting it, but what team doctor, what owner is going to write off on that? If me and you own a team, we paying him $40 million, and he's told he can't play for 2 months, but you can play in this all-star game. What they say, you can't hurt it any worse? You can't play for 2 months, but you can play an all-star game. And why wouldn't you want to give it up? You still there? There was no reason for him to play. That was just straight up selfishness. Fuck Chris Paul. Fuck Chris Paul. That is some selfish bullshit. People say KD sacrificed his grandmother. Need to realize that dying is pretty common for people over the age of 70. Okay, so that's what you play in that spot today, young Weezer. that's you the anti. Okay. I'm gonna give you your voice though. I'm gonna let you fly. No, just like Charlie Taylor died today. Granted, he 80 years old, but he played pro football and he wore the Jackie Robinson shame number. And I don't know how many times I keep trying to tell y'all, Al Jarreau had been dead, really dead. I mean, they had been reporting on he was on life support. When that was first reported, he lived 2 more years. And then when did he die? And the night before Grammy. So don't tell me they don't need their blood. I mean, you have to understand it is not about it is about the blood. They want these people to give up blood. And that's part of whatever Lola wants, Lola gets. You have to give up something, and blood is what they truly want. They want the blood more than the souls. Because they don't really need the souls. It's the motherfuckers that they gave fame, they signed them contracts, and they let them get out of their contracts. And they ain't give up their souls. Or they put something else on the table to replace their souls. So they want blood. That is the aim, is everybody gives up blood, especially when you're active. When you're an active participant, But even when you're not active, there's a point in your life where you got to give up blood. That goes along with it. That's why it's called. It's called not just sacrifice, it's blood sacrifice. So yes, you sacrifice your soul, but you sacrifice the blood. But I'm gonna let you land. I'm gonna let you land. Man, there were so many hints that Cat was gonna win the 3-point contest, from his pink jacket, his mom's necklace, commercials, and he was talking smack to a bunch of platforms. He was gonna win it. I don't know. All I gotta say about him is, did y'all see that wolf he wore when they was interviewing what's the light skinned Booker? Because he walked around twice. That coat he had was woo. That coat, that fur he had, it looked like wolf. That shit was cold. Ooh, that shit was cold. That motherfucker. That's Midwest for you. But yeah, I agree. Of course, you look at his shots in the games. We know it was manipulated. People forget that Wilt was so good. He had people question whether he was human or not. Yeah, his parents weren't that tall. Same with Jabbar. Jabbar's father was only 6 foot. I don't think his mother was that big. Card number 2, one of Daytona. Okay. Card number 2, was that one of Jordan's cars? Maybe not. Because he said he was happy for his teammate. So I'm not sure. But card number 2, I can't remember the dude's name. All these live stream, thank you for joining in. Thank you. Devontae, Dr. J. Dr. J saved the ABA, I'll say that. Dr. J, it was only 6 ABA teams by the time the last year of the ABA, it was only 6 teams. Because I think now the St. Louis team might have made it through the end, but it was only 6 teams. And it was Dr. J that kept packing the places that put pressure on the NBA to finally want to join them. Because Dr. J was single-handedly. There's a picture, old sport magazine that doesn't, of course, magazines don't really exist anymore. But there's a picture of Dr. J, like he had the ABA ball coming out like a fake stomach. And they was like Dr. J operating the ABA. I mean, top 75. Okay, I can get into that. Let me catch up with these comments. They said Kyrie would have got it if it wasn't for the jab situation. Yeah, they held him out. Yeah, they said AD took Kyrie's spot. Okay. Hey, Lorenzo, what's happening? I was just talking about you. What's a better water purifier, Motivite or Sugarite? I would say Motivite. I'm not really sure where they use. I think there's a longer history of people using Sugarite. The Russians, like, we use charcoal when our replacement filters for our fridge if you got water. And the Russians use Shungite. They don't use charcoal. They use Shungite. So I would say Shungite. Most of them die by the numbers, organic or staged. Kind of, sort of, yeah. Yeah, KD doesn't have to be in to sacrifice his fam or friends. For now. Yes, the beast matrix operates. Yeah, and that's like Quantum of Science was saying. Things are 1,000 times worse if you understand the system we're facing. But like my brother and I be talking, and I'm like, remember what this thing is. This thing is a beast. This is what we are facing. We are facing a beast. So it can be the most gross, but we are facing a beast that has associated with itself with the Mai, which is nanotech, that obviously is very old. And so either the beast is the nanotech, or the beast acquired the nanotech and has used it since the beginning. So that is what we're facing. We are facing a beast. So yeah, so that is what we're facing. Now I guess I can skip. So I guess we can skip over some of the top 25s. I did not agree with. Jerry Lucas won. Jerry Lucas played with Oscar Robertson for a while in Cincinnati. His claim to fame was playing at the Knicks when they won in 75. He pretty much took Willis Reed's place in 75. Billy Cunningham was another one I questioned. I don't think he was ever the MVP. I think he played on the 67 championship team with Wilt. He was rookie of the year. Don't know how many years he was all pro. Chris Paul, question Chris Paul that he should be. I guess you would say who would take his place. Another one that definitely doesn't deserve to be in the Hall of Fame unless it's college is Bill Walton. There's no way Bill Walton should be in as an NBA player. He had the one fixed season, and that was it. You know, his feet were so bad. And really, a lot of big dudes like him, Rick Smith, Sherbanis, whose son plays, they just traded his son to Portland. His dad had bad feet. Yao Ming had bad feet. But Bill Walton, definitely Westbrook with his fake triple doubles. I didn't think he belonged in. Another one who, even though I don't think he belonged in the 75 was Dave Bean. Dave Bing never won anything. I don't think he was ever MVP. We'd have to look up if he was all pro. Yes, he did make some all-star teams. Never played on good teams. I question him. Dame Dollar. Come on. Dame Dollar. Really? Really? Bob Cousy. Again, Bob Cousy. Bob Cousy played like a brother and stole some of the brothers' moves and put them into the NBA. He was on good teams most of his career. Bob Pettit definitely deserved. Don't forget, Bob Pettit dropped 50 on Bill Russell in a championship game, so Bob Pettit should have been there. West Donzel, again, West Donzel. We had a 6'7" center. He was the MVP in the league. I think he was Rookie of the Year and the MVP, one of the only ones. I think the other one in the NBA, Spencer Haywood did in the ABA, but I think the other one to do in the NBA was maybe Willis Reed. I think Willis Reed. So I questioned them. Again, Bob McAdoo, yes. Tiny Archibald, definitely yes. MVP that led the league in scoring and assist. I think that was all my question mark players. Bill Sharman, very, very iffy. Hal Greer was another one that he won a title with Wilt Chamberlain. Another one of my favorite players that put the spin in the game, but if you really looked at it, he was never MVP, but he did take a Boston team with he did take the Bullets team with Wes Unseld to the title game where they lost to the Celtics. So don't know about him. Don't Earl Monroe, I don't know. Sam Jones, absolutely yes. I would have said they should have even added KC Jones, but they didn't. Ray Allen, I'd say no. Some that missed. Adrian Dantley. Adrian Dantley just recently made the Hall of Fame. I think he needed some of them spots. Dennis Johnson and Gus Johnson. I thought they both should. Andrew Toney was another one. They called him the Boston Strangler. I thought he should have made it. And Bob Lanier, I thought it should have had some consideration too. So out of all those, would Jordan be the greatest out of everybody? It's hard really putting Jordan even above Kareem. Jordan, if you looked at Jordan's career, as far as college and pro, he falls a little short of Kareem. He falls short in points. Kareem had the same amount of titles, 6 apiece. So I think in some ways you could give that to Kareem. Kareem had the one unstoppable shot that people don't even practice anymore because basically of Bill Walton. Bill Walton put in the jump hook, and that's what most players did. Chris Webber, most players instead of learning a shot that's been around basketball. Matter of fact, before the jump shot, when you would see an old Globetrotter game where Goose Tatum started shooting it from half court, that's how dudes shot jumpers before the invention of the jump shot. Dudes shot hooks as jumpers. So it was nothing to see a dude bank a hook from the wing. So Dwayne Wade was another one I did not think should have been on that list either. So Those just were some of my questions. Let me catch up on these. Catch up. Wilt was an alien. I am just now watching the fight between Michigan and Wisconsin. It's getting to fuck around and fired. He going to look at confrontational plus having a bad season. Yeah, but dude grabbed him. Dude shouldn't have put his hand on him. Dude started it. So yeah, I don't think he's gonna get fired for that. They like him. I mean, yeah, he did not recruit guards. That's been their Achilles heel. They have the two nice big dudes, but he did not get the guard that can score consistently and push it and then play good D. For some reason, the guys he got to transfer him just wasn't adequate. So yeah, he should take that L for not recruiting. They don't change the rules so Jordan could beat Pistons. He would have never been in the conversation as GOAT. He couldn't beat the Celtics, Showtime Lakers, or the Bad Boy. Of course, he couldn't. He couldn't. Remember, they said the Jordan rules was just being more physical with him, so it wasn't scripted for him to win. Because another play you got to look as scripted is when Isaiah Thomas threw the ball right to Larry Bird. First of all, they could have called timeout. There was no hurry to rush the ball in. They throw the ball in, they win. So why wasn't the coach up there when he saw them score? Why wasn't he in their ear going timeout? Or no, they didn't score. It was a turnover. Boston turned the ball over. The coach could have been like timeout. So Isaiah threw it to Larry Bird. You watch the play. He clearly throws it to Larry Bird. Or the Pistons would have been in the final then. Yeah. So pink equals mom, NBA, let Cat wear his mom necklace. Yeah, they turned on the magnets for him. He's part of the club. He supposedly had 8 family members die. Yeah. Oh yeah. He was part of the agenda very early. Dwight Howard got robbed of top 45 so hard. Dude was the best center in the league for years. Well, what was he? Was he MVP and defensive player of the year? Some shit like that. Yeah, defensively, he was a great player defensively. And yeah, he could be there. Like they were saying, does he deserve to be in the Hall of Fame? I think he does. He was a great defensive player, great rebound. He took a subpar team that basket manipulation helped them go to the finals. Because remember, they was hitting all them threes against LeBron in the Eastern Conference Finals. And then they get in the finals, them same dudes is cold. Them same dudes ain't hit any threes. So that shows you that year they were manipulating so LeBron didn't go because they was crazy hitting threes. So Tim Duncan made it. You didn't think Tim Duncan yet? Oh, glad you mentioned Tim Duncan. Tim Duncan was wearing the lace front braids. Did y'all notice that? Did anybody notice he was wearing lace front? I mean, Tim Duncan was wearing lace front braids. To get them braids in the front, you could see, like, you know how the women get the baby hairs? Tim Duncan had the lace front. He had lace front braids on. Dwight and T-Mac played. Yeah, Dwight Howard and T-Mac. T-Mac, I don't know. Some of them, who would I replace? I would say, but see, the problem with T-Mac is he ain't never win. And so do you put T-Mac over Wade? I would think not, because he didn't win. Why did Lillard make it? Exactly. Why did Lillard make it? I didn't think Lillard should have made it at all. He is nowhere near. Who do you think is going to die next in the NBA? Shit gave me a bad vibes. It's kind of hard to say. They're going to be cool until the finals. They're not going to do any more sacrificing until the finals. But leading up to the finals and the playoffs, you can believe that it will be more blood spilled. But most of the voters probably weren't old enough to watch Prime Dwight. And it's a sectional thing because some of them dudes, no way they should have made it. AD Lillard was such bullshit. Yep. Chief Mighty, what's happening? Surely because Dwight did way more. Yeah. Larry Bird overrated? I disagree. I totally disagree. Now, I'll say this, and we talked about this last night. Larry Bird had a short run because he played that extra year from transferring. So I think Larry Bird went into the league at 25. And he only had 5 good years, really. If you look at his career, somebody did a beautiful breakdown, and it shows he had only like a 5-year run. But those 5 years, he was right there with Magic and Bird. I mean, granted, Boston manipulated, but far as a player that could play, Larry Bird could play. And see, as I said, the 70s players were so efficient without scoring, but it didn't look good because you had like one touch and guys going to the basket. They loved Magic and Bird because they started using everybody. It made the game more appealing. And it changed, like people know, like if you look at one person that changed the way that everybody played, and that's Magic. Magic changed the way that everybody played. I mean, that wasn't, that passing trickled down. Like everybody in my generation, like I've said before, I think I still have the record in a playoff game for my high school. I had 11 assists. But all of us passed because of Magic. We all added that to our games. Even the people that could score, we put passing in our games. And you see that nationwide. And I'm going to tell you why I know it's nationwide, because I watched Mark Aguirre's game out of Chicago, went to DePaul. But when Worthy went to Carolina, because Worthy broke his foot. He broke his foot his freshman year. Worthy bringing the ball up like Magic. He grabbing the rebounds and bringing it up to like Magic and dishing. Now, here's a guy from North Carolina that didn't know. I knew Magic. I grew up. He was only a couple years older than me. Camps, tournaments. I saw Magic. I first saw him when I was in 5th or 6th grade. When he was a freshman, was the first time. But I had been hearing about it. We had been hearing about this guy because, again, his eventual manager was from my town. My stepfather's friend. And so we had been hearing about him for years. So Magic changed the way the country played. And Larry Bird, growing up in Illinois, he understood the game. And I think, like I said, when I would play pickup ball, I would pass to everybody except when we needed a point to keep us in the game. But I noticed the more I passed to people, the more they would play defense for me. And so I think Larry Bird picked that up, where Larry Bird had an all-round game. I mean, he really had a nice all-round game. And nice size. He's 6'7", he's 6'8", almost 6'9", 6'7", 6'8.5". Big guy too. Not big as Magic. I think Larry Bird was probably 6'8". So nice size. If Larry Bird was in today's game, and again we look over the manipulation, but he would fit in today's game because he could shoot outside. He had a jumper from the rip. So I don't know. No, Bill Walton, hell no. Bill Walton shouldn't have been on the list. There's no way Bill Walton should have been on the list. No way. No way. He shouldn't even made the Hall of Fame unless it's college. For college, yes. Bill Walton had the greatest NCAA championship ever. He went what, 20? He had 44 points in the game in one of their games when they beat Memphis. It wasn't Memphis State then, or it might have been Memphis State then and not just Memphis. But what did he go? 22 out of 23, some shit like that. He missed one shot. The mailman, yes. The mailman. No, maybe. I don't think I saw him at forward. That's a good point. It's all about evolution, yeah. She's put me in the 60s right now. What I knew, I'd average 35. I don't know if it's that easy. Yeah, I didn't see Karl Malone. I think they looked over him too. A lot of people don't like Malone, though. I met LaRue Martin once. Yeah, he was #1 pick. Nice guy. Sucks he couldn't live up to the hype of the pros. Yeah. I mean, it was really a crapshoot back then. And he went with, when he got picked, there was an expansion team. So he didn't have a lot of good guys around him. This was before Walton was there. But I want to say when LaRue Martin went there, they might have got him in a coin toss. And Connie Hawkins and Jabbar was in a coin toss. Milwaukee won and got Jabbar. Connie Hawkins went to Phoenix because it was Phoenix first year. And I think the year before when LaRue Martin got drafted, or maybe that was the year after, I think Portland was a new team. I'm watching now, replaying. Nobody touches Howard. He comes across and smacks it. No. You got to watch it from the beginning. The beginning, the coach, the ball head coach, going ball coach grabs him by the arm. He grabs him by the arm. That's what started it all. He grabs him by his arm. because they're going by shaking hand, then he physically grabs him by the arm, and then he puts his finger in his face. So yeah, watch him grab him by his arm. I think he'll be suspended. I don't know. That dude grabbing him. I don't know. He might be able to get out of it because that dude did grab him. Is the best, most hype ever NBA player because he did all the commercials, became like a superhero to most people in NBA. He just scripted for him to win. Absolutely, absolutely. As I said again, if you can ever find that game where Portland plays the Bulls the year before and gets blowed out, and then the next year, and I want to say they got blowed out with Scotty, and then the next year they changed the hand checking rules, and like Magic joke, don't get on Mike because it was like Mike was just as bad as Karl Malone, just as bad as Hardy. I think Mike probably averaged 8, 9, 10 free throws a game too. Sprewell got all that bad publicity when he was here, and they repoed his boat and said his family couldn't live on something like 30, 40 million. And they put him out the league for saying that stupid shit. It just wasn't a good look. High school, I could not pass whatsoever. And I didn't really have handles. All I did was take threes. If I played these days, I would fit right in. Yeah. Yeah. Curry's daddy didn't have great handles. He was catch and shoot. Didn't really guard. He was just catch and shoot after all. He was a journeyman, bounced around the league. Jordan beat teams in the finals that couldn't hold the jack of the Sixers, Celtics, Lakers, and Pistons. Yeah, I think the best team he faced in the finals was probably Portland. Far as over-round talent, I think Portland was better than that. I think Portland had overall greater talent than the Utah team with Malone and Stockton. I thought Stockton should have made the team. Definitely Malone, even though I think he's overrated too. And it was like Stockton didn't score, but how can you keep the assist leaders? He's all-time leader assists when most of them was to Malone. Not sure how much you'll say on here, but may I contact you regarding an idea I have concerning my vocals and spiritual music, social media, also for insights for advocating symptoms? Yeah, it's Eagle are the bomb at gmail.com. Eagle are the bomb at gmail.com. So I'm easy to contact. Yep. John Stockton, best point guard ever. No, not over Magic. Not over Magic. Magic changed the league. He really did. Recently discovered a gift of mine, so if you don't mind. No, I have time. Yeah, that'll be cool. They were saying Andre Agassi wore a wig his whole career. I guess he said that in his book. He did. Slide went over that he had lace front. You're right. I went back to coach. The coach from Wisconsin went to shake his hand, and Jalen held his hand so that the coach was on wait list, but he hooked up on the assistant, not the head. Yeah, he didn't. He slapped one of the assistants because the other coach was kind of way back. He slapped the assistant, and I think in the melee he forgot who was who. One thing I wanted to say, Macy Gray sang the national anthem. She had the Rosicrucian. She had the Rosicrucian cross on her thing, and then she had right here. She had the Kabbalah hand with the rings. She's wearing the Kabbalah hand with the rings, but the Rosicrucian cross and the hand with the rings on it. So I thought, and she had a panther on there. I didn't break that one down. So, the rose also represents the lotus. So, those were some things. Those were some things I picked up. Charles Barkley only said he's 6'4". He said it right on there. He said, "What could it?" He said it's 6'4". So yeah. Charles Barkley is only 6'4", and you can look at that thing they show of the Dream Team, and Michael is about that. Michael ain't that much bigger with him. That shows that Michael only 6'5", because they look damn near the same height. Maybe Michael's about an inch taller, so Michael wasn't 6'6". He's more closer to 6'5". I'll say Dirk. Dirk was probably the best European player ever. If you look at Dirk's numbers, and again manipulated, but Dirk put in work. I mean, if you looked at peak Dirk, now did they deserve to win the championship? Not at all. That was to push European players. But Dirk is by far the best European player ever that had a full career. Yep. Oh, okay. This is something I caught a couple years ago. Bradley Beal was the first dude I caught, but Jay Morant did a Mason sign. Um, you know, uh, Darius Garland. Yeah, Darius Garland did a Mason sign too. I think I've shared the picture of LeBron doing the hidden hand again. So, but I caught that years ago with Bradley Beal did the Mason sign. Jay Le, Jay Morant did it. Who? Somebody else threw up the diamond. I couldn't remember. I must didn't write that down. But somebody threw the diamond when they came in through. I think it was Towns, but one of them threw the diamond up. Yep. Oh, Derek Wilkins. No, Dominic Wilkins. So I'm wrong. When they introduced Dominic Wilkins in the 75, he held the diamond. So he's showing you in the club. He's in the club too. So, but just some of them notes I picked up. Let me catch up. Oh, here we go. Oh, no problem. Starco is basically unbreakable. The next closest player is Chris Paul, which is not going to pass it. It's the same with Steele. CB would have to become Ball to break it. Yeah, it is probably. Charles Barkley was a bully, but Charles Barkley put, as I was saying, in the 70s, dudes was so good, but it wasn't really physical. So when you see Adrian Dantley and you see Truck Robertson, both them cats about 6'4", 6'5", they set that's, and like he talks about John Drew, you talking about now John Drew, you talking about the mid-game killer. Andrew Toney would have had a better handle, but very similar player, just kill you with the mid-range game. And that who John Drew was. I mean, there wasn't a mid-range shot that he wouldn't hit. I mean, consistently. John Drew was a consistent, great mid-range player, almost non-stoppable. I think the cocaine stopped him, like the Wild Boys. Wild Boys said, it wasn't the police that stopped us; it was the cocaine. but Barkley put that in. And like Barkley said, I had to be more physical to, same thing with me. If I'm guarding somebody, I'm 6'1", 6'2" with shoes on them. I'm guarding somebody 6'4", 6'5", and they ain't real girthy. I'm still, physically using my body. So I understood. What he did. Magic Bird, all day, every day. Yeah, I say that the Bird was a hell of a player. I mean, he really was. You look at where he's come from, and yeah, I enjoy watching him play again, scripted for Boston to win. Teams are getting old once Jordan hit his prime. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Definitely were. When Isaiah and them won, they were all kind of older. As I was saying, Isaiah's my age. Rick Mahorns, they got rid of. Lambeer was shit. I want to say Lambeer played with Woolridge at Notre Dame. So they might have had me by maybe 3 years. I met Bill Lambeer. He's actually a cool guy. He was the AAU coach. His daughter played. But so their team was older. And they had some bench players that were older. Vinnie Johnson, I'm pretty sure, is older than me or my age, but I think he has me by a year or two. Isaiah's my age. So even when they won it, they was all in their 30s. So they was all getting older. So that's why you saw them get old so quick. And see, Isaiah tore his Achilles, wasn't a good athlete. He was just a basketball player. I'll take KG over Dirk. Dirk was a proven better scorer. And I think in rebounds, they probably even, but maybe one of you guys might want to look that up. But definitely Dirk got him in scoring. He was not this consistent scorer as Dirk. Dominic did a Mason sign. Yeah, he showed the diamond. He sure did. Yep, Brown handles. Yes, Brown hidden hand with Usher. Yeah, definitely hit. He did it in the. LeBron did it in the first half. I think he thought the camera was on him, and he did it in the first half. And when he saw the camera on him, he did it again. Rob Parrish, no, no, because he came from Golden State. So should Robert Parrish make it? No. I would put Dwight Howard over Parrish, other than Howard didn't have championships. The Chief had three, but yeah, I would have put Dennis Johnson or Gus Johnson over Parrish. Yeah, Robert Parrish shouldn't have made it. Mm. Barkley in his prime was different. He had the best year of the year. The dream team got together. Well, I mean, he put the strength in the game, and he studied all the right players that for his size. And again, people like Adrian Dantley got knocked out the year the Pistons. Was it the year they lost to the Lakers or their first title? No, they traded him. Yeah, the year before when they was in the conference finals, I want to say Adrian Dantley got knocked out. So I don't know. I don't know if it was against the Lakers or the conference finals. I don't quite remember. But he got knocked out. That hurt the Pistons. That hurt the Pistons. I didn't see Mark Aguirre as a great upgrade, other than Mark Aguirre being younger, could run better. Because really, Adrian Dantley was a ball stopper, no doubt. Oh, remember what Barkley put in the game. They had to put a new rule in because Barkley could back under anybody. Barkley could boom, boom, and then push him back, push him back, push him back. And then they put that rule in there where you can't have the ball for so long. But before that point, Adrian Dantley was a master of that. But Barkley could back down anybody in the league. And then he's so strong. And sometimes when you go up, they really can't block your shot, because if your arms are big enough and just the way you can kind of drape your shoulder into him, he was both hands could get up. So he put strength in the game. And that was something that even more so than Truck Robertson, because he was kind of mid-range, but would take you to the hoop. But that's why I say Adrian Dantley's probably the closest we saw to Barkley. But in some ways, Barkley was a better Adrian Dantley. In some ways, you could look at it like that. He was a better Adrian Dantley. In high school, I played baseball and basketball. After I hit a home run, a hit or three, I used to put up six fingers and throw up a diamond because I saw LeBron doing it. It looked cool. Yeah, that got my stupid ass one of my Facebook pictures, and Facebook done me so boldly. I can't do Facebook Live because they've given me an older version, which I don't know how they put it on my new phone. I never asked for it, but they put it on my new phone. And because the way I do it on my Galaxy is I have two Facebook accounts, so I'd have to go live on the old account or the new account and then switch it over, share it with the old account. Uh, in the new NBA, yeah, probably so, the same way they scripted. But, LeBron was the new Jordan. As Kobe was leaving, he was the new Jordan. As Kobe body was breaking down. And Kobe is just like Chris Paul. It's like, why did they give Kobe so much money when he was fading and failing? Well, it was the same way why Tom Brady kept playing. They needed that name until these young players come up, till LeBron comes up. They needed this. They needed the name to bring the people to the Lakers games when the Lakers was losing. So, so I don't know. I don't know. I think Michael was in the right place at the right time. You saw a new commissioner come in a few years before. Stern took over from O'Brien, and he made sure, like Charles Barkley said. Charles Barkley said too black. Stern was the first one to start bringing them dudes over here. Petrovic, I think, was the first one that played in Golden State. I think he was the very first one. I mean, that's Stern. Um, why was it too black? I mean, this game was created in America, so why was it too black? Shouldn't we? It's like I don't mind the baseball players getting it, all the South American baseball players, because that's where the game was created down there. I don't give a fuck about Cartwright or Doubleday. So I think that's just desserts. Oh, thank you, conspiracy. Do you think the term hack a Shack was working back then? I think mostly he didn't work on his game. He admitted it. He said Jerry West took him to side because he was rapping, making movies, and but they were offering it to him, and the Lakers was letting him do it. You can't do it without the Lakers because of liability. You know, he's doing these movies, he's around. I mean, it was a liability in some ways. So the Lakers was with it. It helped give promotion to the league too. Shaq just didn't work on his game, and it showed. Shaq didn't do what Michael Jordan would do for Space Jam. You know, keep having hoops around him. It didn't appear like that. Shaq didn't really. He wasted a lot of his talent. Shaq, Shaq could have been good old if he'd have been more like Jabbar. Jabbar took care of his body, took the martial arts, took yoga, ate right. You can see Shaq didn't do none of that. Shaq was talking about eating fucking Whoppers and shit and Big Macs. So you see how Shaq broke down and became a journeyman. Remember, Shaq went to Cleveland. He didn't even finish with Cleveland. Cleveland got rid of him, sent him to Boston. That's where he tore his Achilles. So it was just him lack of practice. It's like the dude, what's his name, used to play with the Nets that could jump. This or used to play with the Clippers, DeAndre Jordan. Look at him now. He can shoot free throws good because he practiced. I already hit out like as soon as I get in. Okay. Dirk couldn't guard a chair. KG was super unselfish. Yeah. Dirk really wasn't great on defense for big as he was. I used to get on him. Hakeem was bad. Yeah. I mean, even he really got well, again, as I said many times, playing against NBA talent, you get better. And what people don't tell you is when he was in Houston, he was playing against pros and pickup in the summer leagues. So somebody wanted him in the league bad. But great footwork, great fakes. Great footwork and great fakes. Yeah, they want Kobe, MJ, Bronze, some on what the same level. Staging Kobe's death has lifted Kobe's legacy up. Oh, tremendously. I agree. And really, you could even put Dr. J in that because that's all really. If you looked at Michael Jordan and if you looked at dudes 6'5", 6'6", this is who they always wanted to dominate. If you looked in the league, it started, I think, with Dr. J. Again, Connie Hawkins would have brought that game. Connie Hawkins would have brought that the type of game Dr. J brought. If Connie Hawkins wouldn't have got banned, him and Roger Brown, and Doug Moe, which would have made the Knicks compete against the Celtics. That's why they put that bullshit on them. But that type of game would evolve in 64-65 season because Connie Hawkins would have got out of Iowa by then. It was surprising he even went to Iowa because Connie really couldn't read at that point, I don't think. Now all the white American players are trash. And see, that they did that on purpose. I've said that before. Go look at the Pinterest, go look at the league the year before the merger, and you see a mixture of Europeans and brothers in the ABA. You can't tell me in a year's time that there were no brothers that could go and play in the NBA. And as I've said before, the brothers were starting, but there was a conscious effort to get rid of American European players in the 70s. Now, I know you can say Bill Walton. It's a few names you could throw in there, but if you looked overall, they tried to. A lot of them ABA players didn't go over. Like, what's his name that played with Kentucky, the all-time ABA leader that shot 50% in his best career. Can't think of his name. Louis Dampier. Thank you, Motivite. Louis Dampier. He didn't go into the NBA. Why? Here's the ABA's best three-point shooter. He doesn't go into the league. I'm watching the top forward portion now. How the hell they didn't have Rain Man, Shawn Kemp in there? That's a good point, but I don't think he was ever NBA, but he was all NBA and a multi All-Star game. So I don't blame these forward players coming over here to play because America's really any place you can make millions playing basketball. I agree, but not at the cost. See, a foreigner is not supposed to get a visa unless he has a skill that American doesn't have. There's no skill that Luka has that Americans don't have. So that is my only gripe. Here we go. I never understood the need to bring European players here. We don't really need them. No, we don't. And they are, minor league, and I can't say that minor league players can't go. NBA has been trashed since the hand truck rule. Jake from State Farm, what's happening? Hey, Vanetta, thank you for joining. How you doing? And Tiffany Haddish wig was obvious. Sure was. What do you think would have won in a fight between Barkley and Ron Artest? Barkley. Ron Artest wouldn't have won none of that heat from Barkley. You see, Barkley fought Shaq. Barkley had no fear of them. They have Sabonis' son labeled as overseas player, and he was raised in Portland. Exactly. He was raised in Portland. Yep. And went to Gonzaga. Sure did. Hey, PJ, my man, and $1,000 grand. My man, main man from Japan. What's happening, PJ? I remember the Lakers tried to get Kemp. I'll say this. What happened to him was he really got depressed being up there. And he got depressed being up there, got to drinking, and just really wasn't caring about his game. And what he didn't understand was he wasn't a great athlete. He was a good basketball player, very athletic in some ways, but not a great athlete. And unfortunately, with his size, once he got out of shape, you really never seen get in peak shape again. And as I mentioned many times, I first met him. He was 15. He's from Elkhart, Indiana. That's why I never understood. Like, if you look at his bio, it says he went to some junior college. We was playing against him in semi-pro. So he was playing semi-pro in Elkhart, but he was playing South Bend. We was all playing that semi-pro all in that circuit too. But the first time I met him, we were at my family. It's a lake called Eagle Lake that's near Paw Paw, Michigan. And it's not technically in Paw Paw, Michigan. We always have our family reunions there, and there's a basket there. And Sean came and played with us. And he played 2 or 3 games, and he must have been about 15. He was probably 6'8" then. And then he said, I'm going to run around the lake, and I'll be right back. And so we kept playing. And sure enough, about half hour, 45 minutes later, here comes this young big boy. He had ran around the fucking lake. And it wasn't no little lake. So started because a fan threw beer at Ron Artest, and Artest jumped in the stands. No, young Weezer, that ain't really what happened. What happened was Ben Wallace pushed Artest a couple times. That's really why the beer came, but Ben Wallace really started everything, if you watched it. Mitch Richmond got fat during that lockout too. And he actually had a pretty good game. I like Mitch Richmond's game. So it's kind of Ben Wallace started all of it. Did you peep the refurbished NBA Brotherhood at halftime? Yeah, I did. That's what we've been talking about. Which reminds me, last year they had NBA Summer League in Boston, Kwame rookie year. I saw Oliver Miller walk into the gym, and the dude tried to hand him a hot dog, and he smacked it out of his hand. Wow. Yeah, because he was never really in shape. They was giving him bonuses. Like the one year he got in shape, they gave him bonus money, and he still wouldn't stay in shape. My homeboy played against Artest in high school and said that had grown man strength then. Yeah, there's some high school dudes that was cock strong. Charles Oakley. I don't think Oakley should have made it. No, I don't think he should have made it. But Oliver Miller, it was the dude. Who was the dude from Purdue? It was one of the dudes who had played center in the last 5 or 6 years from Purdue. He had 3 with Portland. He played with Portland 2 or 3 years, got traded to somebody else. And when this dude was 6'10", 6'11", and when this dude quit working out, this dude blew up to almost 400 pounds. Oh, and I want to say, did y'all look and see how bad Jabbar looked? I mean, Jabbar ain't old as my mother. And again, he did fight cancer, but he looked bad. I mean, of all them players you looked at, even Bob Pettit, that's got to be in his 80s. Bob Pettit older than my mother. Bob Pettit got to be 84, 85. Jerry West, too. Jerry West and Oscar, all of them got to be in their mid-80s. And Jabbar looked worse than them. He looked bad. He looked real bad. But again, they say he went through the cancer scare, so I just felt bad for Jabbar, but Jabbar looked bad. Oh, and here's another thing. Did y'all hear what they was trying to push? They was trying to say that, well, how did they put it? They said that they said Cleveland was another meeting spot where all the players from around the country was backing Ali. That ain't the case. Jim Brown and them, when they all seated, and Bill Russell and Jabbar still in college, Lou Alcindor, they was trying to tell Ali to join because they was like, you're going to be just like Joe Louis. They ain't going to make you fight. They ain't gonna make you fight. You'll just be on USO or O tours. You're too important. Yeah, they told a lot of people that, and then next thing you know, your ass is in the grass. So, the Malice in the Palace was a psyop. I always thought so too. They did it along with Iverson's dressing to enforce a dress code, and to make brothers look like animals. The dudes are paid actors. I would agree too. I would agree with that too. Very well said, PJ. My bad, Khalid Swanigan. Caleb. Okay. Charles Oakley only in it because MJ being his enforcer. And the first few years before Pippen really and then they brought over Bill. And I met Bill. Bill's daughter. I repped her a lot. Bill Cartwright. I met Bill Cartwright. Nice guy. Nice guy. Bill Cartwright went to San Francisco with the dude who they said he raped a girl. Jordan was there. Quentin Daly. Ooh, Motivators kicking ass tonight. Quentin Daly. Cartwright played, I think, when Quentin Daly was a freshman. They was number one. Yeah, Chick was, shoot, man, you look at how long he was with the league. My goodness. Nasty that year. Really had a chance to win it all. Who won it that year? Didn't the Bulls win it that year? The Bulls or the Pistons? Does MJ win rings without Pippen? No. He would have never won without Pippen. He can say it all was him, but without Pippen playing, I mean, they could press and Pippen would play the middle and they'd kill. Because you really couldn't double team. I mean, you really couldn't zone. The only time you could really zone was when you pressed and Pippen in the center, on those type of double teams, which was zone. But anyway, yeah, no way. No way he wins without Pippen. No way. When did he win without Pippen? Never. And then not really give him, and I mean, that was Pippen's business that really shouldn't even came up. I mean, to mention Pippen's business was fucking low down on Michael. And I understand why Pippen's going after his ass. Because you cannot count that man's pockets then. And yes, it affected you. And in some ways, he shows that it made Rodman more responsible, made Rodman play harder. And he found out that he could win because Rodman getting all the defense, all the rebounds, Rodman shutting dudes down. Shit, when they started, like, there's one of the buildings. So if you're going towards downtown, I believe it's on the Eisenhower, there was a building up there with a big portrait of Michael Jordan. And they always put new shit, but like they would put, when they put Robin up there and they was changing the hair, shit, motherfuckers was getting out of their cars. Now this is the main expressway. And the building, is like off the highway. People is parking on the expressway and taking pictures of that shit. They had to stop them from doing that shit. What's up? I always thought Bill Cartwright resembled Bill Russell too. They both came out of San Francisco. Yeah, I don't know where he's from, but yeah, they both went to San Francisco. Hey, Nad's funny. What's up, your goat? Okay, not sure what that means. That's Kobe Shaman ritual. Oh, Pistons won that year. Let me see what I can't lie. I just bought my city a lot of cash this year. I can't lie. The All-Star game bought my city a lot of cash this year. Yeah, that's why they did it. That's why they did it. Then don't they have isn't that arena fairly new too? Spurs beat the Pistons in 7 that year. Malice in the Palace. Okay. Pale said that the Pistons won. They didn't have no. They didn't leave Mr. No shot blocker. The Kempa. It's a joke. Oh, you thought Mr. should have made it. Okay. Colorado rape case. Oh, okay, I got you. Colorado rape case. Okay. Yeah, Gary Payton made it. He made it. And he was a dude never won it. I don't think was MVP, but made all defensive team. What'd they say? 7, 8 times. They showing a lot of defensive prowess for a league that don't play defense. Isaiah Thomas, yeah, he made it. Isaiah Thomas made it. Of course, he made it. But I already, I went over the list of dudes I didn't think make it. Like, I'll say it again. I didn't think Dave Bean. Dave Bean probably shouldn't have made it. I even and not giving love to old dudes, but Jerry Lucas definitely shouldn't have made it. Billy Cunningham is another one. I didn't think Chris Paul should have made it. Westbrook definitely not. Bill Walton definitely not. Again, I'm iffy on Cousy. I'm iffy on Bill Sharman that could have went in as a coach because when they went 32-0, now switched to 33. But I think Bob McAdoo was well deserving. Oh, I wanted to mention George Mikan's story. George Mikan had a very sad end of his life. I mean, George Mikan had diabetes. And don't you know he had to do kind of, a year ago when Jabbar had to sell all his trophies and rings and shit, talking about for charity, he was probably broke. But they had to do the same thing for George Mikan. And the NBA, because again, they don't get an old player's pension. It wasn't until he was damn near dying that the NBA tried to help him. But by then, I think he was missing a leg. Yeah, they did George Mikan dirty. No one really, I don't know, his politics. He was the first commissioner of the ABA. He came up with the red, white, and blue ball. That was Bill Mikan's idea. And Mikan did make it. But Mikan won 5 titles, MVPs. But they did him dirty. The end of his life, nobody came to his rescue. Again, I can't say his relationship with people, because that's what a lot of it is too. Is what was your relationship like? So them some people. Oh, even Earl Monroe, very doubtful he should have made it. But watch some films of Earl Monroe. You talking about now his spin, like he put the spin in the game, but I'll tell you who benefited from that spin the most. Watch Pearl Washington when he playing Georgetown when they win the Big East title. Watch Pearl Washington kill that press. And Georgetown, John Thompson had them brothers that could press. And Pearl Washington is just going through them suckers like they ain't even there. And these ain't slow dudes. These dudes coming at you. And yeah, Pearl Washington killed him. If you can watch that Big East game, watch how Pearl Washington kills Georgetown. I mean, he handled the press by himself. Vlade shouldn't have been on there. $200 million facelift for the arena. Okay. $200 million. Okay. I got a cousin named Marcus down there. He does canes and stuff. Mutombo should have made it. Also, Ben Wallace, defensive player 3 years in a row. Was he an MVP? Since I am Georgetown, throw Big John Thompson in there. No, he didn't play good enough. He had a college. He wasn't that good in the pros. He only played 2 or 3 years. They should go back to that red, white, and blue ball. The ball was sweet looking. Spud Webb? No, Devontae, not no Spud Webb. And I met Spud. Spud was cool. Spud transferred from somewhere else to go to North Carolina State. I can't remember where he went at first. Because he followed Wittenberg and Sidney Lowe. I'm still here. I'm walking in the Mall of America, and I hear somebody yelling, Kalamazoo, Kalamazoo. Like looking around, like, what the hell? Fucking big head Sidney Lowe. Because, he played here. He coached here several times. But I met him in Wittenberg. Was AI in the top 75? Yeah, AI was in the top 75. He made it. Of course, he made it. He made it. He was one of the best athletes to ever come into the league. As far as athletes, he probably could have played wide receiver. I don't know if he could have played quarterback. He could have played quarterback on the college level. He couldn't play quarterback in the NFL because of his size. But on the other hand, about the same size as Michael Vick, and Iverson was just as quick as Michael Vick, and his arm wasn't bad. Accuracy, we don't know. But it was like what they did to Iverson was about, and I think they were from Newport News, was about because Iverson wouldn't go to the school. He didn't go to the school near him. He went to another school, and uh, politics of the rival school got him sent to prison. He was sent to prison unjustly. Chris Webber, never MVP. Did he lead the league in rebounding? But all-stars, and that's what they was giving a lot of them. They were saying them all-stars. So, yeah, maybe Chris Webber. Yeah, I loved AI too, especially his rookie year when he shook Jordan. Yep. Hey, James Gant, what's happening? Diva in the Hall of Fame, but no Sean Kemp. Yeah, that's a good point. Kemp should be in the Hall of Fame. So, but yeah, it was interesting breaking everything down. And it's funny listening to Reggie Miller. His go-to word is "Are you kidding me?" which is a type of spell, but it's like, I don't know. It's just like it makes him sound like a simpleton. It really makes him sound like a simpleton. So, I'm gonna switch up a little bit. It's just funny how you run into these people's lives and what happened to them. Two dudes, and I've told one of the story, but this is another story that I forget about. So when I don't know if it was my first year coaching JV or my second year, I can't really remember. But I had a player named Larry Gibson. I don't mind saying his whole name, and you can Google him to see his story. But Larry was a dude he was kind of in trouble and stuff. But when he hooped, I got along with him. He followed what I did. He gave me a little attitude, but overall, Larry was decent. He was decent. I could have saw him playing for the next couple of years. Well, I think Larry got put in one of them jails for juveniles. I think he ended up going to a juvenile facility. And the only reason I really knew him because his sister was around. He had a cute sister. Seemed like, I can't quite remember, maybe Michelle. But she still went to the school, so we didn't have Larry for the next couple of years. But he was a guy that, I would take him to tournaments and stuff in the summer. And, just I saw where, he could have played at that high school. And to jump quickly, what happened to Larry supposedly, the story where Larry supposedly grabbed a cop's gun. I don't know if he shot the district attorney, but he was in court, took their gun, and killed a couple people while in court. And then Larry, either they killed him or he killed himself. I think they killed him, but I think they said he killed himself. But it's like, I had forgot all about Larry and just thought about him like, wow. And it's like, the people you run across in your lifetime, you just never know. Now, the second story, this dude was named Benny, and that's all I know. I didn't really know Benny, but I knew him. I'm not gonna say I didn't know him, but he lived in the town where my dad lived. I lived in Kalamazoo. He lived in Battle Creek. I knew him from seeing him at games. And like I was even seeing this dude before I played. He was older than me. But what was interesting, between Kalamazoo and Battle Creek is roughly about 25 miles. And this guy would walk the 25 miles. Now, a lot of times at the games, people knew and they would give him a ride. But this dude had a time where he would walk the 25 miles. He'd walk in the winter. It did, because, basketball is mostly in the winter. If he couldn't get a ride, he didn't give a fuck. He wasn't going to miss the big game. And this dude would walk 25 miles down the highway and go to the games. I saw him at a game that I played in, and he came to that game. We was playing Portage Central, and he came to that game. I was surprised to see him. So he probably came to see me and Dooley play, or came to see me and Dooley play. But it was just this. I don't even know how to describe that. I imagine he had some type of mental illness, but he loved basketball that much. He followed his high school alma mater that much, where he didn't probably had nothing else to do. And later in life, going to one of these games, he got killed on the highway. He's risking his life, especially if you had to walk. I mean, the games get over at 8, 9. And then you're walking down the highway at 10, 11. If cars swerve all the time, and he got killed. So, that bowling alley fight, yeah, they put his ass in prison. I live down the street from where the bowling alley incident happened. Used to be in there with my children a lot. Wow, okay. Yeah, Tony Parker. Yeah. Should Tony Parker made it over Earl Monroe? Probably so. Probably so. Westbrook, Tony Parker over Westbrook. I think the stats speak more for Westbrook, but not championships. I don't want to watch the whole thing. Once they put Russell Westbrook on the list, I was done. Yeah, Jordan, they call Jordan. Like, you know how they do it, Magic and then Jordan. Larry Bird didn't go there. I knew he's not in the top 75. The player I like watching was Zach Randolph. Oh, yeah. Zach was nice. Michigan State guy. They won the championship with Zach, remember? Yep. I remember I remember that. He took people hostage, I believe. That's crazy. Yeah, it was in Michigan. It happened in Michigan. But yeah, he popped. He took cop's gun and popped a couple people. His cousins and stuff, they were saying, they were friends on Facebook, and here we go. And they were telling me it wasn't quite what they said, that they kind of set Larry up, but I don't know. But yeah, that was Larry. Larry, you can look him up, Larry Gibson. I heard Magic was sleeping with young boys. I've never heard that. I never heard Magic was sleeping with boys. Magic was sleeping with trannies, but Magic would do it to anybody, like Will Smith. They would bring old, wrinkly men in front of Magic, and Magic would do it to the old men. Anybody. He was under that wizard, Jerry Bust. So Magic was handled by Jerry Bust. Magic was probably handled by Dr. Tucker. Charles Tucker was his first handler. As the same, Tucker was the first handler of Isaiah, Greg Kelser, Mark Aguirre. So, I mean, Dr. Tucker was the first handler of a lot of NBA players from the Midwest. Glenn Robertson, he got Glenn Robertson at $93 million. Dr. Tucker. But yeah, Magic would fuck men. I mean, that was the word, that Magic could get hard for anybody he put in front of him. So Magic had no problem. Vince Carter dunking over everybody, but I don't think he ever won MVP. I used to study Maurice Taylor, and my entire game from watching him, my mid-range game was serious. Okay. I still gets bucket. There you go. Yeah, Maurice Taylor was nice. He was nice. Maurice Taylor was the one that they got in that car accident when he was going to Michigan, and they was wondering how he could afford the car. And then they looked at his mom, and his mama didn't have a job or some shit because I just said Zach won the championship with Martell Cleaves. Motivite does it again. Martell Cleaves. When Taylor and them got in the car accident in Michigan, they started looking, and that's when it went to Ed Martin. Ed Martin was over the AAU program, not over, but he's the one that funded the AAU program. And that was really the rift between Chris Webber and Jalen Rose, because Chris lied for once, but then he threw Ed Martin over the bus. And Ed Martin, from what I've heard, is Ed Martin paid for Chris Webber to go to Country Day, because Chris Webber went to a private school, and his brother. Ed Martin paid for all that. He was a numbers runner. He didn't sell dope. He was a numbers runner. And he worked for Chrysler. So he was making big money. But, back then, the numbers runners was like the dope dealers, My bad was Michael Jackson's sleeping with young boys. That I couldn't even say. Magic Johnson and Jerry Buss was about to have a show on Showtime. Yeah, that's about to come on. Ali Nair, what is important? Enlighten us, please. Where's he at? He's in here. You didn't talk about nothing important in the world. Why is that? You don't talk about anything important in the world. Why is that? What is important in the world, Ali Nair? What is important in the world? Tell me that. What's important? The war over there ain't important. This fake bug is not important. The politics ain't important. So what the fuck is important in the world? What is important? Now we have child poverty. We have elderly poverty, which a few times a month I take packages to elderly people. I don't talk about it because I don't need the fucking pat on the back. I don't need people to hit me on my back. The little dude that stayed under me, the boy that I was autistic, that the witch sent all them bugs on. Anytime I had extra food, I'm taking it down there because his mom a drug addict. But I don't say it to brag. I don't talk about that shit. So what's important? The war, the fake wag the dog war over in Russia. What's important about that? I talk about stocks. I talk about stocks and how you should pay important to stocks. But what is politics? But fake shit, fake scripted shit by the wealthy, by the elite, by the 1%. So what's important? What's important? I mean, the sports are. I look at sports as a religion, and I look at it as a spiritual system. That's why I talk about their corruption, because there's a spiritualness to it, to the ball game. I know you can't see it, but this up here is a symbol for a ball game in South America. You see that symbol up there, and you see the park. I don't know if I can see that symbol. I don't know if I can make it closer, but that's the ball game from South America. So, not sure what's important to you, because what's important to you in the world ain't important to me in the world. I don't even know if Michael Jackson. Maybe who cares? Who cares about the topic? Let's talk about more important things in the world. Okay, like what? Come on, Devontae. I think you trolling, because Derek Fisher, get out of here. Hey, Trill, what's happening? Nick Van Exel caught a murder charge? God damn. Woo. Woo. I believe Brother Olinar thinks that that shit Zach be talking about is important. Why do we have to work to live on this planet? We are the only species that pay for our housing. Don't feed into trolls, OG. Okay. You just randomly putting some bullshit names out there. Maybe wants to talk about the left propaganda. Stop. Stop. If you don't talk about stocks. I do talk about stocks. I bring up stocks almost every day. I talk about the price of gold, the price of Ethereum, the price of Bitcoin. I say how the S&P goes up or down. I generally do talk about that. Yeah. So I'll tell you what, Alinar, you may not want to be around for my shit. That's all right. We're not going to talk about the fake ass news, the 1%. There you go. So there you go. Yeah, I don't work either. This is some work. His son just got convicted of murder some years ago. Damn. I had to find out about that. In my Keisha voice from New York City, let's smoke this fool. Yeah, he had to get up out of here. I mean, he's welcome to start his own channel. He want to start his own channel. He's welcome to start his own channel and talk about the shit he want to talk about. You know, I think he wants Zach's guys, and you know, they really got nothing good or bad to say about Zach. Zach's been pleasant when we talked on the phone, but I disagree. I think he worked for them people. I do. I think that the work he does, they want. And I think Quantum of Science said it best. That shit can be in everything. That shit can apply to everything. Like Manly Hall just talks about it, says that isn't a language. And this book right here, and you know, this is a book I would suggest that you read just to get the information on how they doing this shit. Get this version though, because I got another version, ain't got the pictures. You want this version with the pictures in it. And I mean, the pictures ain't, you know, no taking pictures, but you get graphs and shit. You know, you get graphs and shit that he shows you. I think this is the Bear Bible, the Vision of Ezekiel. You know, you get shit like this in it. So if you get this book, get this one. Don't get the skinny, tall version or bigger book version. Get this version. Because it is a lot of how they do it and a lot of what their symbolism means. And so You know, I think the thing is don't talk it, do it. That's the thing, is just don't talk it, do it. You asked me that last night, and I did kind of give you a thing to try to see how can we tell if a woman's doing witchcraft on us. I think I gave you an example last night. I said, and again, you know, without tools, it's kind of hard without tools. Oh, you were talking about his son. Okay. He said he was talking about his son got the murder charge. Okay. I gave you an example last night. Take some salt, try to rub it on, and it's very simplistic, but I really couldn't think of any other way to pendulum would be the best, really. I would say you can even make your own pendulum, but look that up, how to make a pendulum. Other thing is, you know, if you want to use your phone, you could put salt in your hand and see if how much of your face gets covered up, just randomly dropping it in the center, and see how the salt gravitate to your face, and that would give you some of that answer. But without a pendulum or any of the tools, it's kind of hard. But there are some, you know, you can look that up on YouTube too to see. It's a lot of different ways to find that. Yep. It's a lot of different ways to find that out. But study the person you think are the witches. That's another thing. You know, if you ain't got the spiritual tools, study what the fuck they doing. But it makes you feel like that. Watch their little idiosyncrasies. You know, watch that shit. You know, watch their little habits and shit and see how they do things. Because like when I'm at a funeral, like I said, this young man we had to lay to rest in August. I know the minister, nobody was paying attention to me, and I'm sitting there steadily wiping his Catholic shit, Christian shit away, so my man could rest peacefully. So the young man, I'm steadily doing hand signs. I was in the back, nobody paying attention to me, but I'm steadily doing signs to block what this dude is trying to do, trying to lock this young man's soul in. I'm steadily fighting him. And he's just using words. I'm like swiping them pages, erasing them pages to save so he wouldn't go into the light. So, yeah, I talked about that, James. I talked about that. That's why I showed the video about that. He out 6 to 8 weeks. That was some selfish shit. And ain't nobody gonna talk about that shit. That was selfish as hell. That list made my head hurt. But yeah, Chris Paul, that shit was selfish. Fuck that. He shouldn't have played. Somebody else should play. I thought so, bro. I knew Nick was a coach. I thought Nick was a coach. Yeah, I thought so too. Last I knew he was coaching somewhere, assistant. But it's like Bob McAdoo, another coach that got shitted on, never got an NBA job. He was down there. He was on the Lakers staff for a number of years. I think he won when the Heat won the finals. I think Bob McAdoo was down there with Juwan Howard. Pretty sure he was. I mean, look what Patrick Ewing did. Patrick Ewing had to go to college after coaching for 15 years in the NBA. They getting all these young cats coming out jobs. And now Patrick Ewing didn't do a good job of recruiting. They getting ate up. He's probably going to get fired. I hate to say it, but Ewing is probably going to get fired. I'm surprised he hasn't got fired yet because last I knew, they've lost every conference game. So sadly, recruiting is everything. You got to recognize talent, and you got to visualize how the talent in your program will thrive. And then you've got to look at your talent compared to the other teams. And how, if you need pieces to compete against these other teams, what pieces do you need? And then they see how the fix goes. Oh, shit. What time is it? I can't see my clock from here because I got to go. I got to get up at 7 in the morning. So, I've gone on long enough. Want to give everybody the energy of the transformation, the transformation turning into the panther, the transformation, turn into the panther, the omen energy. I'll send that to everybody. I am ready for the divination, so I don't have to go looking for it. I prepared a little sooner. And it's Mulak. Mulak. It's kind of a deep card, deep drawing. Raindrop, water, lunar intelligence and wisdom, signal signs, awaken attention, self-remembrance, divine guidance, God seed, cosmic communication, beacon, symbols are the lotus and the moon. 9, grand cycle, sunset peach is the color, tarragon, golden seal. Golden seals is what people used to get for to pass drug tests. Golden seal. Flowers, apricot rose, peach glandias. Flower essence, dogwood, scents, peach, lotus, and apricot. Peach stones are peach moonstone, Botswana agate, apricot pearl, generator quartz, and quartz obelix. Element is earth, direction from the east. Self-forgetting, negative talk, self-deprecation. Lacking awareness of signs offered by cosmic communication, hiding the fullness of your light. Shadow transformation. Take off the veil of forgetfulness. Become the beacon of awakened awareness. As you open your self-remembrance, you will freely feel divine guidance. Be with others who support your fullest expression. Harmonic wisdom modulation. Mandra, right hand on forehead, forming an O on the third eye, left arm at right angle, fingers together with palms facing down. Meditation, lotus of remembrance, quicken the sacred seed. As a galactic beacon receiver, I have direct access to the divine. And something it says here is, take off the veil of forgetfulness. Because someone asked last night about resurrection, or not resurrection, but reincarnation. Reincarnation. And reincarnation will put you in forgetfulness. It will put you in forgetfulness. And then in that forgetfulness, you got to do it all over again. So you don't really want to be in that. You want to move to where that's really the free will. You got the right to leave this motherfucker. And we see who want to stay here. We see who killed and all this stuff they do to live here forever. All these things they do, it's like they need this. They want their riches now. Whereas us, I'm not saying anybody commits suicide, no, but I'm saying don't fear death. Study the steps that it takes. That's why the Tibetan Book of the Dead is a great book. Study these steps that show you, like your head should rest in the east, feet in the west. That is how your bed technically should be. Definitely your deathbed. But your bed should be, you get more cosmic energy because your head is where the sun rises. You'll get more cosmic energy. And I've got to change my room around for that. A couple other reasons, but I need to turn my bed around because I'm the opposite. But I need to turn my bed around, and I'll do that. I'm definitely going to do that. Because I've got to really transform this room. I'm going to move a lot of things out and try something. Yeah, try something. So this, as the weather gets nicer, as I said before, I might have end up on a humbug getting a new camera. So on a humbug, I might have end up. I mean, it ain't free. Still gonna have to pay close to $1,000, but it might be a little easier to get. So we'll see. We'll see how that goes. But that's on the list too of equipment to get. But again, right now in the day of time, it's hard for me to justify buying shit that ain't really got no value. I'd rather invest my money into gold. and like the dude was more than likely one of Zach's trolls, which I don't care. But the thing is like the news talk ain't really healthy all the time. It's nothing but negative shit. It's nothing but shit that's trying to fuck with your emotions. And I think we got enough of that. We have enough shit out there that tries to fuck with your emotions. Why should I try to do that? Why should I come and try to manipulate people for their emotions? Why do I want to comment on every story they put out there? Now, there's nothing wrong with keeping track of the dead, but every story? Why do you have something to say about every story? Every bullshit psyop they sit out there is people that got something to say about that shit. And so in a way, to me, it looks like you feeding that shit too. Some of this shit you gotta fucking ignore. Like somebody, like you, some people was asking, why didn't I do a thing about LeBron's? Why would I do? That's why I purposely did a miss shot. I kind of changed up what I normally do because I was trying to show you the mechanics of a miss shot, just like Chris Jackson say. This is how you miss a shot on purpose. Because this, if there was any time was going to be basket manipulation, it was going to be this weekend for sure. We saw them give that shit to Towns. But I think like you can miss on purpose. You can definitely miss on purpose. You can shoot what they call pulling the string. Like a lot of pressure on you and you don't follow through. You kind of leave it up here instead of breaking your wrist. You kind of leave it up here, like here. It's like I had a shot in pickleball today where I come all the way around and I swing down into the net. Instead of keeping my paddle here, I put my paddle there. Instead of keeping my paddle like this, when I come down to hit hard, what people tend to do is you put your paddle like that. And so even though you're hitting hard, you hit it into the net. Instead of keeping the face up, the face was facing down. And of course, I'm going to hit it into the net. But again, I'm rusty. I ain't played about 4 weeks, so I didn't feel bad at shots I didn't make. But I needed it. I needed to work out. I've been walking every day. I go to the mall. Problem is, I go to the mall, I go shop too. So, in closing, I just want to say, I do want to share this. Gosh, I've had this thing for 10 years. And I'm going to play y'all a tune now. I don't know no tunes. But the thing is it only got to sound good to you. It's a way you can express yourself. Of course, it's the breathing in, the breathing out. Little Walter is probably one of the greatest harmonica players ever. The guy that played with War is another one that's really great. But I mean, you wouldn't think that just the sound. I mean, you wouldn't think people could really make real music out of this. And you listen to Little Walter, where Little Walter sometimes makes a harmonica sound like brass instruments. I mean, he gets those type of sounds out of it. Last time I was down in Memphis, we was in a place where dude, again, could make this sound like a horn. So I've messed with this for 10 years. Again, I still ain't really learned how to play, but I play for myself. This was made in China. Horner. This is not a cheap one. I paid a nice little pretty penny for this one. It's a hot metal. This is the guitar place. Guitar City, I think they're called. I bought it from there. So this was, I bought it 10 years ago. I paid about $30 for it 10 years ago, I think. Wasn't cheap. But the music is to play for you. It's like the same with these bowls. You find the tone that works for you. Like if you go in the store and want a singing bowl, you play the tone that you feel something with. That's all. Same with these crystals. There's no one way to do it. It's no one way to collect them. It's no one way to really meditate. You meditate the way it works for you. And so, so in this world, what is important to one is not necessarily important to other. That's all. And so I don't follow the news stories because the news stories, quite frankly, be some bullshit. It's like the same old thing. The wars wag the dog, no doubt. Same thing with Taiwan and China, is no doubt. You can't tell me that all this debt we supposedly owe China, that they want to go to war with these people, or China wants to go to war with us. Divine Network, and I don't think I said what's happening. So yeah, I better cut this short because I do have to get up at 7, so it's got to be about 1:32, I imagine. I started only about 10-15 minutes early because I started doing more research. I brought this Manly Hall book out. I was like, oh shit, started researching shit. So that's what I love to do, and that's why I talk about those kind of things. So in leaving you guys, I'm going to say Mora, and Mora is some of the time walking work that I'm allowed to give out, because it's basically a poem or a saying. It all starts with a gentle sadness. They came from their original homeland. They knew that they had exact numbers of years and days before they disappear off the earth as a culture and a lifestyle. But the civilization would build to a gentle love. They lived in the Creator's day and knew how to separate cycles in the great serpent, which is our galaxy. And to all my relations out there, I am another yourself, so treat me like that. Well, everyone, this is Big Pontiac, and this has been the Chocolate Mountain Show. Till we meet again, say less.